This is Fred Beck from Fred Exciting. Today I'm very lucky to be joined by, once again, Ryan Rhodes. So thank you very much for calling again, Ryan. It's good to see you again, mate.
Good to see you as always, Fred.
So before I start the recording, you were just saying there how you have hay fever, and you've only had it for 3 years. And I thought hay fever is something you have since you're born. So how come you've only had it for 3 years?
Three years ago, my wife and my two girls, they've suffered it for years and years, and I never got it. And I always had a bit of a joke about it, but I got it 3 years ago for the first time. And I've had this is my third year, and I feel so sorry for people what's had it. You just don't look forward to summertime. It's crazy.
I have hay fever as well, and I have these things called antihistamines, the kind of pills I have. So it's like if I'm going out onto a field or say I'm going to the park, I'll take one of those. Do you not take any antihistamine tablets or pills?
So yeah, I don't think I've found the right one that works just yet though, because the girls have been giving me what they take, but I don't know, it just don't seem to touch me at the minute. I don't feel that bad today because the weather it's brightened up to this afternoon, but this morning it was pretty cloudy. It rained a little bit, so it don't seem to be as bad today. But over the weekend, what's just gone, I was terrible.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of my tablets, and
Right.
two different types. I'll send you a picture of those. See, I got an interview with Tris Dixon a week ago, and I saw on his YouTube channel he did an interview with Tris. So now
I did, yeah.
since you've been interviewed by me a few times and interviewed by Tris, who's the better interviewer, me or Tris Dixon?
Oh, it's got to be you, mate. Fred, honestly, you're the future, mate. The future. I'm surprised you wasn't one of the announcers on DAZN from Eddie Hearn. I'm surprised you wasn't out there. You was the new commentator. That's what I thought. I was just expecting it. I was so shocked you didn't get the job.
I need to get Eddie Hearn's email so I can get in contact with him. All right, I'll make sure I email this interview to Tris Dixon now. I'll make a little clip of it. All right. So every time I do an interview, I always get so many comments saying like, "Oh, ask if this person's in the game. Ask about this career mode, Manny Pacquiao, all these things." But one thing I haven't seen about Esports Sporting Club is all the other sports games. You have FIFA, then you have NFL, you have WWE, all those kind of sports games. You have the front cover star. So I think for FIFA 21 it's Mbappe. Who do you think the front cover star is for Esports Sporting Club?
Well, I mean, let's not. Probably the biggest name we have announced at the minute is Canelo. Apart from me, I mean, I'm a must on the front cover. I'm a must. I think it should be me and Canelo in front cover, face to face, in a rematch, and then all the other guys scattered behind. But listen, Canelo's probably the biggest name that's been announced in Esports Boxing Club for now. So he's definitely, I'd say definitely would be on the cover, and maybe a few others as well.
Do you think that some people in their contract might have that? If they want to be in the game, they'll have to be on the front cover. Do you think that might be a little bit annoying? So say you might like get close to some more big names. Do you think that be like one of the things in the negotiations? They'll be like, "Oh, I want to be on the front cover for the game."
I think that's already been discussed in a few contracts about who's on, but we can only have so many on the front cover. So the guys at Steel City know, they know who's worthy of a front cover, and a lot of fighters will be pushing the luck about being on the front cover. But I think the guys at Steel City, they'll have that boxed off on who they decide and who they know will be on the front cover.
And do you know when we'll find out who's going to be on the front cover?
When it's released.
When it's released. Awesome. I forgot to say earlier, I interviewed Todd Grissom, who works at Esports Sporting Club. He's the voice of the game. And I did I want to call it a trick, but I call it, I did this thing, I did a percentage. I think I did a view, but you didn't give me a percentage. I did, 0% Mike Tyson being in the game, and 100% Mike Tyson in the game. 0 being no chance, 100 being he's in. And then Todd said 80. And so I'm going to do the same thing with you for now with Manny Pacquiao. What percentage Manny Pacquiao is going to be in the game?
I know he's getting talked to. I'd say 50%. I don't know how far them talks are going, but I do know I did listen to that to the podcast with Todd, and it was another great podcast. Well done, Fred, as always. And he said it. You named them big fighters out there, and they've been spoke to. Every one of them have been spoke to about this game. Now it's a bit of a on who's in the game. We don't know just yet, but the biggest names in boxing are getting spoke to about being in Esports Boxing Club. But that's all we can say, that they are getting talked to. It's down to the individual fighter if he wants a part of this. But let me tell you, if they don't want a part of it, they're being advised wrong, or they're making the wrong decisions.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you want to be in the game? I remember Josh Taylor saying, "Oh, it's one for the grandkids." I mean, it's so cool showing grandkids or kids like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the game." And how do you think? I'm just a bit off Esports Sporting Club, but how do you think Manny Pacquiao gets on with Errol Spence Jr.?
Do you know what? I was talking about this a couple of days ago. I think Manny Pacquiao has got a right shout. I think he's got a right chance against Errol Spence. I do rate Errol Spence, but I so rate Manny Pacquiao. I think what he's doing, even at the age he is today, he's doing an amazing job. Was it Keith Thurman he beat last time out and beat him convincingly? I'm not sure whether if Errol Spence would have fought Keith Thurman, I'm not sure he would have beat Keith Thurman as convincingly as Manny Pacquiao did. Manny Pacquiao dropped him. He put him down. He just looked a level above him. And I don't honestly believe you can back against Manny Pacquiao. I think he just seems to get better and better. He didn't have a good night against Floyd Mayweather, but who does have a good night against Floyd Mayweather?
He's like wine, isn't he? No, the longer you leave it, the better he gets. But
the better he gets.
He had been 2 years out of the ring since he last fought, and ring rust going in against. I think Spencer's got to be in the pound for pound, like top 5 or top 7 at least. Maybe 2 years out of the ring. That's quite a while for him. And I've seen a lot of people saying that Esports Boston Club hasn't been signing too many PBC fighters. Do you think have you guys been talking to Errol Spence at all in the game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that Todd Grisham in America is doing a fantastic job. He's, speaking to the biggest names possible in America to try and get them on board. Where myself, Dean at Empire Pro Tape are doing the exact same over here, and we are honestly speaking. I mean, I think we're up to around 200 fighters now, and we've got a lot of big names a part of the game already. And honestly, the biggest names out there, we are speaking to them in the UK, we are speaking to them in America, but it's just a time thing. I mean, it's again listening to what Todd said about you've got to speak to the agent, you've got to speak to the lawyers, you've got to speak to the next door neighbors, you've got to speak to absolutely everybody. Because boxers have so many advisors, so many lawyers, so many family members that you have to speak to. And it's not just like signing a football team where you have to speak to one organization. Boxers have got so many contacts, people are part of their team, and you've got to go through everybody.
Yeah, I know. It's hard enough getting people to interview, let alone to sign to a video game.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that.
And one thing as well, I'll bring up normally in each interview, I always try and make the questions link. Lots of these questions don't link, but what make will the gloves be? Because I remember in Fight Night, they were Everlast gloves. Do you know you've got a brand like Everlast or Grant? Do you know what brand?
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think there's already 2 or 3 brands. I'm not sure they've been announced yet. But I think there's 2 or 3, probably the best brands out there, what's going to be a part of the game. But I don't think they've been announced yet. So it'd be a bit unfair of me announcing that without it coming from Steel City guys. But I believe it's 2, if not 3, of the biggest brands out there what's going to be a part of the game.
Oh wow, that's awesome then. Well,
Yeah.
look quite nice. And as well, I just want to Matchroom, as you mentioned earlier, announced that all the commentary staff and pundits. Who are going to be the commentary team for Esports Boston Club?
Well, you've got Johnny Nelson. You've got Adam Smith. I think Todd's going to be a part of that. Who else was there? I think there's a couple of others. Definitely Johnny, definitely Adam, definitely Todd. I think a couple more may have been announced, or yeah, I'm just thinking who they might be. Or we've got a couple more lined up. Definitely got a couple more lined up as well.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I never knew there were commentators in the game. And
Yeah.
I think that's quite good. Last time I asked you about career mode, I put a clip out of the interview about the career mode. It did quite well. But I think it's one of the things that everyone's quite interested in. With their career mode, will it be like a story mode of cutscenes in it?
As in fight game, as in the
So,
fight. Well, if
so like, oh, that's a bad example I just gave, but like in video games, where do you play video games at all?
not really, not really,
I don't
not
particularly either, but
yeah, no, not
video
really.
games where you say it's in like some Star Wars game or something like that. You go attack the base, and then there's a part in the game where it's a story on the screen, like part of the film, which you can't play.
Right, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that's
Watch
a little
log.
bit. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. No, don't really know.
It's just something that they're asking in the comments about it. And for this
Yeah,
mode, would you create a fighter for it, or would you use an existing fighter?
you can create a fighter and you can use an existing fighter.
Do you know what existing fighters you'll be able to use?
Yeah, yeah. So, go on. Sorry, Fred.
Would you be able to use any existing fighters, or be only like select 3 or 4 to use?
I think there'll be a few to select, but the better you do, I think you can select more. The better you do in the game.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And then you get the pick of your manager and cut man as well.
Yeah, the better you are, the more fights you win, the better manager you can choose, the better promoter, the better trainer. So you just got to keep winning in this game.
So say I'm a promoter or a cut man, and then you keep picking a better cut man. Why some of the cut man who aren't as good as the others get a bit annoyed then?
Well, that's just how it works. That's just how it is. But no, you can't get upset with this game. You just gotta suck it in, suck it up.
Yeah, no, I saw that Jamie Sheldon, he's one of the cut man in the game.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And one of the other fighters everyone is very interested in signing was Gervonta Davis. He fought last weekend. We'll talk about that fight in a second. But have you spoken to Gervonta Davis at all?
Again, he's part of the Mayweather team, so I believe the Mayweather team have been spoken to and will continue to be spoken to. And if there's a way of getting Gervonta Davis in this game, we'll definitely do that because I think he's an amazing talent. I think he's a great fighter. He boxed amazing. When Floyd Mayweather came to the corner and told him that on the unofficial scorecards he could be down, and look what he went out and did that next round. Stop the guy.
I always like hearing. Hey, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's what quality fighters can do. You know, if they get told, or if they think of anything that needs to be changing, especially so late in the fight. What was it, round 10? I think it was.
Yes, later rounds.
I think you know, to be able to do that, you've got to be a quality fighter.
Say one of your fighters is losing, and you're like, okay, you need to knock him out. You would tell him that, wouldn't you? Because lots of coaches, they wouldn't say that.
Yeah, even it's hard to, and what position you're in, what the opponent's like. To if your opponent's a dangerous puncher, you're not just going to say, right, you need to go out and knock this guy out, because you could probably leave yourself open to be even knocked out yourself. So the situation you're in to with your fighter would all depend on the situation of the opponent, what kind of, how many rounds you think your guy's down. It all depends on the situation you're in at the time, I believe.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Where would you? I know you Tank fought at super lightweight 140, but where do you think he ranks up? Who are your top 5 lightweights? You got Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Lomachenko, Lopez, and Gervonta Davis. Where would you rank all of them in order? Number one being the best.
Number one being the best, I think. I know he got beat by Teofimo Lopez, but I think Lomachenko is number one. I would say Tank Davis is number two. I would say Teofimo Lopez is three. Who was the other one?
Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia.
I think Devin Haney, and then I think Ryan Garcia. I just think it's early days for Ryan Garcia at the minute. I really do. I rate Devin Haney, but I don't rate him as much as the other ones. But I believe Lomachenko one, Tank Davis two, Teofimo Lopez three. Who's the other one?
Then you said Devin and then Ryan.
Devin Haney and then Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia potentially in the next couple of years could be up there with number one and number two, definitely. But I just think he needs a bit more time.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But when you're with Eddie Reynoso, and anything's possible in a few years, you know.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Listen, Eddie Reynoso at the minute is probably the pound for pound number one trainer out there. You know, especially what he's done with Canelo over the years, what he's done with Ryan Garcia, the heavyweight who knocked Joshua out. What's he called? What's the heavyweight? Andy Ruiz. What he's doing with them guys, and he's got some kids coming through what are making big noises.
Oscar Valdez.
Yeah, exactly. So you would put Eddie Reynoso as probably one of the best pound for pound trainers out there today.
And then your pound for pound number two. Is Eddie Reynoso in the game? Because Canelo's in the game.
Eddie Reynoso is in the game. Yeah, he is in the game. He's one of the trainers in the game.
Oh, okay. How do you get? You know how you do when the boxer does their motion scans, they do the shadow boxing. What do the men do? Do they act like frustrated, happy? Do they kind of do that stuff?
I think the guys at Steel City have got different. There's about for different face expressions. I think there's 15 or 20 face expressions for cutsman, trainers, fighters. So they've got it boxed off, Fred. Honestly, they've got every little angle you can think what could create this game to make it even better. Trust me, the guys at Steel City, they've already thought about it.
And it's crazy. I mean, I think about the Tyson. Everyone's always asking as well about the three heavyweights: Tyson Fury, Andy Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Fury and Joshua, they're both tied up in the EA contract. But is there any news on Deontay Wilder?
Again, I heard last week that his team has been contacted. They are getting spoke to. Hopefully, you know, we get a positive answer that we get Deontay Wilder in Esports Boxing Club. And yes, you're right about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua regarding the deals they've got with EA Sport. But listen, them deals can't last with EA Sport forever. You know, in a couple of years' time, we'd love to get them guys a part of the game.
Yeah, probably be a DLC later. I hate to be again, but I know that everyone, all supporters, love this. Can you give us a percentage of what of the chance of being Wilder in the game, or chance of Wilder being in the game? Sorry.
Again, and this was only a couple of weeks ago that I seen. You know, we are speaking to him, and it's 50%. This has only happened in the last couple of weeks, I believe. So it's early days. Hopefully, it's a positive. In the next couple of weeks, we have an announcement, and who knows, it may be a Deontay Wilder. Fingers crossed.
You got an announcement coming soon. I think you got all the gameplay footage as well. I don't take too much of time up. I've only got.
I would say that's what majority of people are asking for, more in-game footage. I reading comments on Instagram, on Twitter, all social media platforms. The majority of people are asking for in-game. And I looked. It was only, I think it was at the weekend, the last in-game footage Esports Boxing Club released. it's close to 900,000 views on it already. And I think it was about, what was it, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, something like that. And it's close. In the next couple of months, it'll be at 1 million views. That in the next couple of months.
Yeah, crazy. Oh, the game will get
Mad.
the game will definitely get more than 1 million sales. I do predict that.
Yeah.
A couple of questions left. The modes in the game, I just want to clarify. So you got career mode, you have a quick match, I guess an online mode, and then are there any other modes in the game?
No, I think you've named them, unless there's something that I've not seen or anything like that. But definitely, a lot of people can't wait for the career mode. Starting from scratch and working them way all the way through the British title level, the international titles, and then the world champion. That's what people are saying. They can't wait to take it from, and it's great. I mean, having the world organizations, what we got, the WBC, the WB, the WBO, the IBF, Ring Magazine. It's amazing what we got involved.
Have you played the game at all?
Pardon?
Have you played the game at all?
I have.
And have you played UFC?
I've been lucky enough to play the game. I have been lucky enough to play the game, Fred.
How does it compare playing UFC or UFC 4 to Esports Boxing Club?
Now, I said earlier in this thing, I don't really play games, but Esports Boxing Club, no other computer game comes close to it. No other, the motion, the fighting, the movement, how it flows, mate, they've nailed it. It's amazing. And I've seen, obviously, we were comparing Fight Night because that's probably the best other computer game out there. And comparing it on a split screen and seeing what Esports Boxing Club and seeing what Fight Night does. No comparison, mate.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And what's your favorite part of the game then? Since you played it, since you got all the
it's just so realistic, Fred. It's just like seeing like a Sky Sports boxing show, like a BT Sports event. It's just like watching it live on TV. The head movement, the rolling, the feints, the slipping, the parries, the dummies, the stepping round. You would not believe how it looks live on a screen. It just looks so realistic, and that's what I'm so excited about.
No, I thought you were going to say that your favorite part of the game was rematching Canelo and beating Canelo. I thought you were going to say that.
I haven't done that yet. So that will be, when that happens, that will be definitely my favorite. And I'm stood over him doing the Alice shuffle. Yeah. Maybe one foot on his chest and just tensing my arm.
Getting your hand raised, going to have old title.
Yeah.
Great speaking to you again today. I really appreciate it. And where can people find you on social media at again?
All social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Ryan Rhodes 26. Give me a follow, give me a like, and let's get talking.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much for your time again, Ryan. That's great.
Anytime, Fred. Take care.